going to take Waybot down and put on some music of my own.
Yeah. Are you playing it from your thing? Because it.
Yeah, I'll be able to control it.
Yeah.
We can talk over it a little bit. Can you hear it?
Oh, that's so much better. Yeah. It was too loud yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was just on the same device and I couldn't change the volume, But this,
I know.
Right.
Sounds good. Sounds really good.
Talk over it. We can keep it low. We can keep it in the background till people come in. I went ahead and shared it. Let me go ahead and
too. My arm is getting tired from trying to do this on with my.
I know. I do the same thing.
Because it's on a stand. So you could even turn it up just a little bit more. I can barely hear it. I'd like to hear it a little bit more. This is your husband, right? Singer-songwriter, Deanna.
It is.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be starting the show as we please go down to your hamburger down there on the left-hand corner of your screen. And no matter how many followers you have, select all and have them all come into the show. And if you would like to broadcast this out to the world on your Twitter and your social media, that's what the other option is. And we'd be more than happy to have you share this. Paul, we welcome you to the show. I hope you are going to enjoy it. It takes us a little while to get started, and this is where I do my stand-up comedy act. But we will get started shortly. I wonder if do you think I should play the standard opening because for new people it's
I do think it's really good for the new people. I think that when they come in, they kind of get an idea of what's going on. And
awesome. Thank you, Paul.
Perfect. Yeah. So yeah, definitely. I think that's a good idea.
We usually wait until 7:05 to start the show, basically.
Right. And also, so you guys know that are already here, and you'll hear it in the intro. It's interactive. You guys, any input, just come on up and be glad to share with us. We love having, that's the point, right? Mm-hmm. It's a fireside chat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just like FDR used to have. We just had that conversation pre-show. Whoa.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I think that I had it muted. I'm sorry.
No, you did it. We could hear it in the background. So, yeah, turn it up a little bit.
Okay, sorry. I thought I blasted it for a second there.
I want to hear it. So anybody out there that's listening, this is Deanna's husband, who is a singer-songwriter, and this is his song. Deanna, you may want to say this is his song, which is called
Wandering,
and his full name is
Dan Freeman.
And where can we find him?
So right now he's only on SoundCloud, and I can maybe put that link in the fortune cookie.
Put that link in the fortune cookie then, girlfriend, because his music.
No overdraft fees.
But I get this. This is the fun part. SoundCloud. You get an ad every now and then with
you
SoundCloud.
Get an ad.
I'll just turn that
That's
down.
too bad. Well, you know what? Danny has to give you that in order for you to play. You don't.
So
you shouldn't be playing it from SoundCloud.
Right. And that's the thing. And I have maybe one of them that I have downloaded into my actual iTunes, and I just need to get them all downloaded there. So yeah.
Okay. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, it is 7:05. Trinity, thank you for being here. I'm super excited to have you here. Lily, Mary, it is Deanna's show, but I have a habit of freaking taking over.
And I love it.
Sorry. It's our show. We just can't co-host here officially.
I know, that's
on
the
Fireside.
thing. It is our show.
Yeah.
And I would
we
say
are going to
Wendy's
be on
first,
video.
but whatever.
So
let me make you a producer, Wendi. I didn't do that
Oh,
yet.
yeah. Make me a producer. Would you please?
Yeah.
I'd like that.
On
So we'll be jumping up on video in a little bit, but here before I want to preface the show. Deanna and I always tell the little story, what started this. Deanna and I were talking one weekend, just off record. And the morning I was still laying in bed with my heating pad, and Fred Penny, it all of a sudden popped up. We were talking about maybe the Johnny Depp thing. We just started to talk about it. Like, oh yeah, I know. And Fred Penny's show here on Fireside had a pop-up show because he does radio talk law. And so during commercial break, we got to jump up on stage with Fred and talk about what was happening. And since we love Fred and he's always, very supportive, it never comes to this show, but you know what? Oh, well.
We're going to keep trying.
Deanna and I, we got off the phone because we had already said, we should do a show on Fireside. So then we did that. But then we found ourselves having to tell Fred, well, our point of view is from we're survivors of domestic violence. And so we thought it would be an interesting point of view to take from the two of us being survivors to yours, a much longer scenario and different somewhat than mine. Mine being very short and very brutal and very similar to what's happening here, and planning my escape, not being able to go outside, not being able to I couldn't go to the store. I couldn't talk to the checkout guy. I couldn't even go to my mother's house around the corner without getting beat. But so that's why we do this show. And so far, let me stop there. Deanna's show here on Fireside is, if you will like to say, Deanna.
Laughter after trauma.
And you are?
I am a trauma coach, a trauma life coach.
And you really like the
laughter
after the trauma. And she loves the minutia. So she's very good with the minutia.
I love
I'm not so good with the minutia. I'm good with the, throwing this stupid, comment here and there to get everybody riled up. Anyway, but so here's a little thing that we play at the top of the show to explain kind of the format and what we're going to do. I will be playing clips. We will be going on video as soon as this is, I'll play this and we'll be up on video. And anyway, cut to the chase, Wendi, and shut up. Welcome, everybody, to DeppHeard AfterBuzz.
Created live on Fireside.
Wait, what'd she say?
Do it again.
Created live on Fireside.
I'm going to make that women like me. All right, here we go. Welcome, everyone, to the Daily DeppHeard AfterBuzz show with Deanna and myself, Wendi Cooper. Just to recap everything before we jump into the show, this is all about actor Johnny Depp, who is suing ex-wife Amber Heard for $50 million for defamation in connection with Heard's 2018 Washington
Post
op-ed piece in which she spoke about being the victim of domestic violence. Heard's article, it did not specifically name Depp as her alleged abuser, but according to Depp's lawsuit, it relied, quote, on the central premise that Ms. Heard was a domestic abuse victim and that Mr. Depp perpetrated domestic violence against her. Amber Heard is now, she's countersuing for $100 million. This is where we take the clips of the day, kind of, or the topics of the day, or maybe it's just the testimonies of the day. Quite frankly, it's all pretty absurd. It's quite boring, but, we never know when something magical is going to happen. Mm-hmm. Today was one of those days, but that doesn't mean that every day is going to be. So Monday through Thursday, join Deanna and I, two domestic violence survivors, hosts here of our own shows on Fireside, pick apart, make fun, find the laughter after, in everything that trauma and drama has to do and bring us in life.
That makes no sense,
so,
what I said there.
Decide right now, or maybe later, or maybe never. Are you Depp? Are you Heard? Are you DeppHeard? Or you don't just give a crap? Anyway, let's have some fun. Let's come up on stage. Let's share your viewpoints. Let's act like the adults that we are and have some fun here on this live platform that I guess,
Infinity.
Word has it, we all adore, called Fireside.
Mary and Paul.
Let's get on with the show. Thanks for being here, everyone.
Get ready to snap it out.
Then there you go. So welcome, everyone. So Deanna, you open the show because I already opened it for 5 minutes, 11 minutes.
Well, first off, we are on day 2. We are on day 2
of week 3.
Week 3. This is the big, yes. Well, we're finishing out week 3, and we are on day 2 of Amber Heard testimony. Mm-hmm. Day 2 of the defense, and it has been, or day 3 of the defense. I think we a couple of other people, but yeah, it has been a rough couple of days for me. Today was rough. I already had a rough day, but watching this today was rough. I don't know where you were today on this.
Yeah. So just to catch everybody up in the audience.
Okay.
Oh, am I gone? Am I here?
Nope. You're here.
Okay.
You're
okay.
Here.
Thank you.
I thought it was me. I thought it was you.
Yeah. There's a little delay or whatever, but first of all, welcome everyone that's here. Thank you for being here. I think today is a very important day. It really shifted. For me, it shifted a lot. Okay. So far, just to catch the audience up that it hasn't been here, Deanna and I, well, I'm going to speak for myself. I have been very much team Depp. Okay. Pretty much like the rest of the freaking universe. But Amber's first day of testimony was yesterday, which was a little questionable. I think, today she went, can I play some of it? She went through this ordeal that I was stopped in my tracks listening to her explain it. And I thought, there is no way that she's making this up. No way she is making this up, because I wasn't that abused when she's talking about the booze bottle in her vagina, right? All the leading up to that. This is not what we heard from the other side whatsoever, Deanna. This is the details. And I don't know. What do you think? Wait, should I play some of it for the audience?
Yeah, you can play some of it. Sure.
I'm not sure where we are on this, but if we can just be patient and listen so you guys are up to date, and we'll see what this clip actually
their job,
is.
I'd always say, are you kidding me? That's crazy.
This is where he's so possessive.
I support my family. When I moved out to LA, I'd get a check for, a gig, $600 or something. I'd save half for me, send half to my family.
This feels like the Ritz-Carlton of sheep.
Sorry, guys. I got to let the commercial play. You guys can talk while the commercial plays.
It's a pain.
I muted
the commercials. So again, this is something, Wendi, for me, listening to this today, there were a lot of triggering things that were going on, but I also felt like I moved in and out of believing her. I am having a hard time sticking with her and believing all of her testimonies, because I'm finding contradictions in her testimony.
Right, but it's hold on.
But that story was
border of Beverly Hills and West Hollywood.
I want to find where she's really freaking freaking
went through
out.
A breakup, and
she goes through all of the descriptions of him being an absolute possessive freak. Okay,
which
is an indication to me that she actually, either she was looking at his scripts and approving his scripts. He was looking at everything she wore, from the lipstick color of the lipstick to the script she would take, to the auditions she went on, to all of that stuff. To me, that was indication of that obsessive jealousy that is torture for a human being to live under. And I lived under it to the point where I couldn't go to the grocery store. So she's living under it to the point where she can't really pursue her career that she thought she was going to be able to. And so anyway, you can speak, and I got to find the clip.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah. And so, right. And again, like a triggering thing, like, I don't know if I was to the extent of, no, you can't go to the store, but it still was these accusations and this psychological abuse where you they try to isolate you, right? And, so they're jealous of your family, they're jealous of your friends, they're jealous of everything. The thing that I have a difficulty with is, yes, maybe that was going on. Maybe it was professional advice. I'm really looking forward to cross-examination, but there are still very specific indicators that I'm like, no, there's a problem here. But from the beginning, I have said there's no way this is going to be a one-sided deal. There's no way. And there's no way you can deny that you were on a bender. You can't.
Right.
You can't deny that. I'm sorry. I love you, Johnny. I think you're an amazing talent. I think you have a really good soul, but let's not play here. Like, let's not act like don't minimize what was going on.
Okay. So I have to find the clip, but you guys, if you've watched it at all, I hope you did. And I promise I will find it. But this is the soliloquy, whatever the thing in the front of the show. Anyway, he is not an innocent person here. And I'm starting to feel as though all of those people that have testified that he's so nice and so sweet and so special, right? Okay, so that they do have another agenda, and they do have a sworn allegiance to this man who has kept them financially set, houses over their heads. I mean, if I was the attorney, I would be making a real big argument on that, because now that I'm hearing what she's saying, and albeit what you say is true, but this one description today, where it went on for 15, 20 minutes, I literally had to stop everything I was doing and listen to it because it affected me so solidly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think what I'm trying to say, and I get back on point, is that I'm starting to really feel as though I don't know what his attorneys are going to say to her to make her break down and say, okay, that whole story I told you about being slammed against the wall, on the floor, him ripping my clothes off, shoving a bottle up my vagina, punching me, all that stuff is suddenly going to go away. They're going to go, see, Miss Heard, you've been lying this whole time. I mean,
right. Well, okay.
It's really something.
It's a lot. There are parts of it to me that she reverts back into, like, she'll revert to talking about the fact that she was upset about him hurting her feelings, or like there's still just these little pieces, like I said, that weave into her testimony. Even in that testimony, he threw me this way. I mean, never mind, it was this way. It just little things like, he was yelling and screaming at me, and I got some distance from him, and he took the phone off, and he was banging it and banging it and banging it and banging it. And I'm like, but he's hitting the phone into a wall. I'm not saying that's okay, but let's keep to the subject at hand, which had to do with she would get off of the subject. And we got lots of objections today. Like, there was so much sidebar that I think that it took up at least half of the time. Constant objections.
Okay, let's see what she's talking about here. So we give the audience some context.
The front of the plane.
Mm-hmm. Oh shit, it's the plane.
And
I'm tired of the plane thing. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I think the testimony in Australia is significant. I think the testimony in Australia, which is the one you're talking about, is the one that just is. It was hard to listen to. A lot of it was really hard to listen to.
That's the one I'm trying to find, and that was at the end of the day, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think it was before lunch.
Scott?
But I don't remember. It starts to blur. But it might have been before lunch, but it might have been before the
it doesn't matter.
The afternoon break. I can't remember. But the point is that, yes, there was a lot of what she said that there's no way she didn't go through something I think the big question here is how mutual was this? How much of this was instigated by
omni-channel
one or the
campaigns
other?
for dozens of, sorry, that was my automatic YouTube thing that comes up just to disrupt the show every time I do that. Sorry, go ahead.
And so it's the question of, I think, like I've said this, I think from the beginning, is that nobody really wins this case. Nobody wins this case. It's going to be a draw. And when you look at all of what they're talking about, their relationship was extremely toxic. They both need to get some freaking help. I hope that he stays sober. He's not a person who can dabble, because apparently that's not how he's built.
Right. So
And it's just
that's totally established. So they're both freaking crazy. This guy, I am telling you right now, I don't know, how do I say this, but one of the people in my life was very much like this. And this is the whole Hollywood scene, right? Where everyone, the guy, was it in the show before this where I was explaining that he basically would he justified his cheating on me because he made everybody around us think that I was such a bitch, right? And so everybody around us really thought I was a bitch, and they didn't want to be my friend because he was so great. He wined and dined everybody. He bought them things. He flashed his girlfriends in front of them. They wanted to be his friend. They wanted to be in alliance and allegiance with him, right? They didn't want to believe what was happening until they saw the dark side of him, right? And so he controlled them, right? And they would probably have done anything for him, which they did. They never told me about his cheating ways until eventually they finally said, "Hey, Wendi, we're starting to realize, look at you. You're the one that's doing, what?" And they snitched on him and showed me photographs. And I finally got to that place. But that's what I'm saying is he used drugs, sex, rock and roll, money, dinners, lifestyle, and everything to keep these people quiet and happy. And I am starting to feel like not everybody in the world that knows Johnny Depp, all of a sudden Johnny Depp is a saint. No, we all know he went on benders and he was wild and crazy. He can't be a saint.
Do you have a feeling, because this is kind of how I started feeling about it today, do you have a feeling of this, like this mafia type feeling? Like that feeling of, when you get into the mafia, you can't get out? Because the person, the person in charge,
because you're a drug addict here.
No, because the person in charge has so much power that you can't stand up to that power, and that everybody that surrounds that person is protecting that person, and you're the only one trying to be heard.
Yes,
unintended.
yes, and that was and that was basically what was happening to me, and in a different situation, he was never violent with me. That was the other one, but this was the financial thing, right? I lost a lot of money in that relationship. I mean, I was homeless after that. After millions of dollars were made, and he mismanaged and partied with and put up his nose and all of that stuff. So and drank and all of that. So that to me is like, that's what I see him in Johnny Depp. I don't think he never would have done anything as what she described that Johnny Depp did. But he used to, like, all of a sudden, not even when I was with him, but he had a place in Hollywood right down on Harper, not Sweetser. And he would get in a mood. And everybody that was kowtowing around him, right? He all of a sudden would be in a mood, and he would be yelling and screaming at everybody. And everybody was like, but he would make it so that, well, I'm not going to pay you unless you do this stuff for me. Or you can't come with me here, or the script isn't going there, right? So that's what I'm seeing, is that power play against her. And not that he wasn't jealous, but my abuser, physical abuser, I was like in a burqa.
Right.
Not really, but I mean, that's how I felt.
So this is the part where I say, I look at like Winona Ryder speaking and saying, this was my first person and this is not how he is. And it makes me look at this situation and go, was it just the perfect storm? Was it the perfect storm because of their personalities that they were ultimately so toxic for each other? Especially because a lot of this stuff happened before they got married.
Can we
A
play
lot of it
the
happened.
Entertainment Tonight little piece here?
Interesting
Yeah,
to
do
see
what
what
you
kind of fallout they have to deal with from this trial as Day 16 delivered more bombshells.
He started to pass out a lot. He was on the drug binge, no eating, little to no sleep, and he would just use cocaine and drink all day long. Nothing I did made him stop hitting me. Nothing.
Amber described pics she took of her then boyfriend slumped over, testifying that Johnny's substance abuse fueled jealous rages, which got worse when talk turned to a prenup.
Johnny said he would tear it up. Only way out of this is death. He was mad at me for taking the job with James Franco. He hated James Franco. Was accusing me of having affairs. Tell me, did he slip a tongue?
Depp appeared to disagree at times while she spoke, even wincing while the jury heard audio Amber recorded of him after she claims he drunkenly assaulted her aboard a jet.
He called me a slut, and he slaps my face. He just kicked me in the back.
Amber broke down for her second day on the stand.
He was punching me. I've never been so scared in my life. It was black. I couldn't see him.
Earlier, she claimed his drug use even led to sexual assault, which he denies.
He was telling me we're gonna conduct a cavity search. You know, I didn't know what to do. I just stood there while he did that. I was so torn. I was so in love with this person, but he was also this other thing, and that other thing was awful.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was just a little snippet of the DeppHeard.
Yeah, and a lot of that, not a lot, but some of that I think was from yesterday. But let's talk.
It's Entertainment Tonight, so I didn't have control over that. So yeah, I'll find some.
Right, but that's fine. No, I was just saying because I was trying to remember. It starts blurring. Let's talk a second about James Franco, though, because she talks about how much he hates James Franco and how she knew him from Pineapple Express when she spent 5 minutes on a set, probably. But yes, she does know him, and they were in the movie together. But here's the thing. It's very rare that a person is just going to have completely unfounded accusations that are that specific. So like in the case with you or with me, it was just everybody. And they all got treated the same. You're just jealous of everybody. You know what I mean? And it wasn't always just this very specific thing. But in this, he was so targeted, right? And then the day after her divorce, there he is being snuck into a back elevator into Johnny Depp's penthouse where she was living.
Yes.
Right? And stays with him. He stays with her for days.
How do we know that? Was that in the testimony that he stayed for days?
Yes, it was in testimony.
Oh, okay.
That he was there for several days. Now, I don't know that it's been confirmed. It's somebody says this is what happened, but they do have video footage of him being there because the elevators are videoed. It's recorded.
Yeah, but I think you're being awfully assumptive that, maybe they were just friends and like I saw the thing and I agreed with you that, when you go into the Eastern Columbia, you can't go with any secure building, you have to get to a certain level and then somebody with a fob has to let you in. And he's James Franco. So, a lot of times celebrities go in through the other entrance. If you want to look at the flip side of that.
Right. No, and that's, I guess, not my point. And they could totally be friends. And he could have just been hanging out because she was a wreck. And that is totally possible. But
right.
I'm just saying surrounding with the specific targeted anger at that specific person, it makes you wonder, like, okay, then immediately after that, she was dating Elon Musk. There, there are markers or indicators that possibly she did entertain more than just a friendship with these people. We don't know yet, and I don't think they're testifying, so we probably
But
never
she
know.
wasn't married
But
to Johnny anymore when she went out with Elon Musk. They were out publicly together.
no, she wasn't.
Yeah.
No,
So
she wasn't.
that's
Mm-mm.
here, you guys,
It's
everyone
just
in the audience. Let me play this. This is where I think she really falls apart. Oh, I would take the audio.
So scared of my life. It was black. I couldn't see him, and he was looking at me, and I was trying to get through to him. I was trying to say to him in some way that it was me. I was trying to get through to Johnny, and I couldn't see him. I couldn't see him at all. And my head was bashing against the back of the bar, and I couldn't breathe. And I remember trying to get up, and I was slipping on the glass. My feet were slipping. My arms were slipping on the countertop. And I remember just trying to get up so I could breathe, so I could tell him that he was really hurting me. I didn't think he knew what he was doing. I don't know how. Sorry.
He takes a sip of water, looks up at the ceiling.
I couldn't breathe. Please. I don't know.
You have to see the actual
I don't want to do this.
video.
I don't want to do this.
She's really flustered.
I couldn't breathe. I couldn't get through to him. I couldn't get up. I couldn't get up. And I don't know how that ended. I don't know how. I don't know what happened next. I don't understand.
I don't think she's faking that.
no, and that's what I said. Like when I was listening to this,
The next thing I remember, I was bent over backwards on the bar, meaning my chest was up. I was staring at the blue lights, and my chest was on this. My back was on the countertops, and I thought he was punching me. I thought he was. Oh, sorry.
you don't
Okay,
need
so
to play
this
the
is
whole
too
thing.
descriptive.
Yeah.
This is where
Yeah.
she thought he was punching her in the pelvis, but he really had a bottle shoved up her vagina.
Well, or what she figures what that was later when she saw some pictures because of the way. Anyway, but that's the thing. When she was giving this testimony, I was just like you. I was just like, say what? Because this is more consistent also with, I can't remember the order. I can't remember what was happening. I can't describe it all. I don't want to do this. All of this is what it really looks like. And when some of her other testimony that she gave, she would say things and it was obviously scripted. There were pieces that she was trying to be clinical and say the right thing. There was just these pieces that it just seemed like she was coached on
Well,
what
she
to
was
say and
coached.
how to,
You
and how
are
to say
coached.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
You're always coached when you're going to testify or do a
Right.
deposition. Everybody's coached.
Right.
Or should be.
And so this is where, but it just was so like, a lot of it was very disingenuous. It didn't fly. People weren't believing it. There were even some discrepancies today and stuff that she was saying that wasn't flying with me. But when she came into this testimony right here and the stuff that was happening in that house, yeah. But the flip side is we're not hearing any of the stuff that she might have done that Johnny said she did. So we're not hearing that side. But you go to sleep and you get up and he says he hasn't gone to sleep. You take a pill, you go to sleep, you get up again. He hasn't gone to sleep. But we talked
That's right.
3 days.
That's what I lived. That's what mine. He would stay up. The one that really abused me. He was such a cocaine freak that a week when I was pregnant with my son, he disappeared for 2 weeks. He was on a coke bender in some hotel somewhere, you know?
Right.
It's disgusting.
So it cannot, you cannot be the same person. You cannot be the true person that you are when you're in that state. So how
Mhm.
can you say that? I mean, maybe you remember stuff, I don't know, but what you remember cannot be correctly perceived. There's no way
Mhm.
that your memory is what is real. Now, I don't believe that she doesn't do drugs or hasn't done drugs or didn't do a lot of the stuff that, he did. Um, Maybe she stopped doing that in this relationship or stopped doing some of that.
Does
But
that
we've
matter?
heard,
Does that really
no, and
matter? Why does
it
that?
doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, I bring this up only because I want to know when this is cross-examined, what part did that play for her in this, how she's remembering things, or what actions she took as well. Because, like I've said, I don't think this is one sided. I don't think that she's not abusive. I don't think that she didn't bring out all the worst things in him through her own forms
Yes,
of
I
abuse.
agree.
And
I
so
agree.
that's,
I agree. I
and
agree.
so, and I just
They're
wondered what
both
role the drugs played. Right. And I'm
right.
just wondering what roles the drugs played for her as well. I mean, I don't think a person who's completely sober poops in a bed and thinks it's funny. You know what I mean? And, oh, I'm sorry, it
Or
was a
no,
practical joke that
not
went
somebody that's
bad.
completely not that they have to be sober. They could be so pissed off that the only thing they can think of is that I'm going to shit in your bed. I would have probably. I hated my abuser so much I would have shit on his head. If I had a chance. Seriously, I made him eat it.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
serious.
Yeah. All
Sorry,
right.
but
Well, yeah. I don't know.
and,
Yeah.
and was I the one if I had done that? But anyway, to lighten it up a little bit, um, I believe the same, and I think it's closing in on the fact that they're both sick people, probably of exact same nature, right? I think he's taking out the whole mother childhood trauma with the mom and all of that stuff, and the mom that beat the dad. The dad would retreat. Johnny took after the dad because Amber suddenly was, mistreating him, and though he would try to retreat because that's what he learned to do was to retreat, to stay away from everything. Mm, I, I'm starting to believe that's a little hard to actually believe that he was just such a guy that was like, oh, baby, honey, anything you want. And then it turned into her being, well, yeah, I want you not to be an old fat man, and burning his face with a cigarette or whatever. I think it was just these two people that, you're right, perfect storm. They
Yeah.
found each other, and he's getting older. She's young. He's jealous of her youth, her beauty, her future that she has. He's, and it's apparent he wakes up every day and is reminded of his inadequacies. She wakes up every day, is reminded by looking at him of her inadequacies, right? And they both hate each other for it. What else
Yeah.
can I say?
Yeah. And right. And I don't know where it comes in to play with these two when it comes to how so right, it's a perfect storm and all of this, but I do feel like this is another part that I felt like was believable is her talking about how much she thought she could save him, that she thought she could be the person that brought him through his addictions or got him through or out of those addictions. So to the point of that she may have that some of those actions even became triggering maybe for him, right? Because you're always nagging or whatever you're doing and you don't really have control over somebody else. You can't fix that person. And that's when you remove yourself. That's where your boundaries come in. And for her, she kept going back to it because every time that cycle, and this is a cycle of abuse right here, the abuser breaks down, apologizes, and says, you if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be alive. You've saved my life. then the other abuser uses that against you and turns that on you, and then comes back around and says, and so they really were in this crazy cycle. I mean, it was like this hamster wheel trapped in this.
It's like a knock-knock joke with two narcissists. It's, like, I wish I could come up with something, but seriously, it's like, knock, knock, who's at the door? Narcissist. Narcissist who? Narcissist you? Narcissist me? I don't know. But there's two. It's
narcissist
two,
one, narcissist two.
It's two narcissists that met each other, and they finally met their match, right? They met their match, and that's a sad thing. It's for some reason, whatever it might be, and in your vision and what you would like to see happen is that they both have to make amends somehow and do some type of something to help the world be cured of this problem. But I would like to play
I don't think they have
a clip.
Okay.
I have no idea what she says here, but I think we deserve to play
that
something.
You discovered a recording
it's my
on
favorite,
your iPhone from Australia?
Yes, much later. There was this 5-hour long recording, and naturally I didn't know what that could possibly be, because even though Johnny and I recorded each other often as part of our struggles to figure out our relationship.
There you go.
This one was, 5 hours was unusual. And that's when I discovered that there had been this recording of the end of the Australia incident, if you will.
And did you listen to that recording?
I have heard it, yes.
And does it accurately represent what was depicted in that recording?
Do we hear the
Yes.
recording?
Rejection, form, lack of foundation.
You're going to approach them.
They tell me that all the time, lack of foundation.
I had to put a little bit on because I have a boba right here.
All right, hold on. Where does this go, Deanna? I didn't hear this. Where does this go?
Yeah, so this is towards the end of the day, and like I said, I didn't actually get all the way through the end, but I don't think we hear the vid. We don't hear that recording.
You don't hear
yet.
the thing. Okay,
We have not heard it.
Okay. All right. So I have the whole day pulled up here. I finally found it. So it's the entire day. So is there anything in particular, like she's showing some blacked out things here, that you want to
No, I mean, those
highlight?
are some text messages those were some text messages that were like between her and Johnny, but they were being sent through, what's his name? Duder? Is that his name? His personal assistant?
I don't know. We'll call him Duder.
Maybe. I can't remember. Okay. But anyway, so it was some messages that were between those two, Steve Duder. I think that's his name.
Yeah, because they were always signed
text
Steve. I saw that. They were signed Steve.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So there were some text messages through them two where Steve would be talking, but then sometimes what he texted was something Johnny would say. So it's hard to determine for sure who was really the one saying it because they were all signed Steve. But there are those, and there was a couple of ones where she was telling Rocky, her best friend, how she wasn't okay and that she didn't know what to do or how to get the help or what to do. She tapped into a couple of things in her testimony today that had to do with joining the Addictions Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous or Al-Anon, whichever organization she went to for the family side of it, how to deal with somebody who is addictive. So I do feel like she really did think that there was something she could do to
help, because she went through his addiction. She went through his detox sessions, right? Which is a horrible thing to have to go through with somebody.
She should definitely not have been there.
She should have definitely not have been there, but she explained that he had asked her to be there, but he didn't remember that, as I recall, and that she knew she shouldn't have been there because she was helpless. She didn't know what to do because he was hallucinating, and you do hallucinate when you're withdrawing. You do, right? So it's not odd for him to be speaking to somebody in the room that's not there. And
he had professionals there with him. Amber did not need to be there. he needed to go through that and not expose her to that. And she should have said, no, I don't want to see you like this. This is not the Johnny I know. And this is not the Johnny I want to remember. How's about you do this? I love you. I'm glad you're doing this. And then when it's done, I'm going to be there to support you, pull you through, and get you back on your feet afterwards.
In all practicality, but when you're 23, 24 years old, you don't think like that, Deanna. And he's Johnny Depp, right? And you're not thinking. I mean,
I'm pretty sure she was 26, but still.
Okay, 26.
Right? No, I know.
Yeah.
Well, you got Johnny Depp telling you you're saving his life.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
So I know. What do you do?
I'm starting to feel like, yeah, she's a weird actress. Let me just say that, because I feel like I know when she's really recanting the truth, because her body language and everything starts to tell me that. But when she's, enhancing it and trying to enhance it, that's all I can say. She's a terrible actress when it comes to that. Yeah. It's like, and the whole thing, she didn't have time to rehearse it in front of a mirror or in front of anybody. And so it's just kind of disconnected, like you say, and it's not believable. But yet, I don't know her. I've never seen her speak in the past. I don't know how she moves her head normally, on an everyday occasion. Right. I have no idea.
And this is something I brought up yesterday, because it's like, we have some foundation to go on with Johnny, because we've been seeing him for so long. And you've seen him in interviews, and you've seen him inside the actor's studio. You've seen him in all these things where he's not acting. And so therefore we have a little bit of foundation to go on. And for her, we just don't have anything. We know nothing.
Right. So we don't know her body language. We don't know why are we able to determine if she's acting. I don't know. Maybe that's how she acts when she's upset about stuff. She's a little girl from Maynard, Texas. I mean, come on, you ever been to Maynard?
Right.
I have. All right. No. So ladies and gentlemen down in the audience, I just want to say, Reagan, are you somewhere where you would like to come on up? Reagan is our resident.
I know.
Reagan's 16, right? We love to get viewpoints. Trinity, Mary, Paul, Dale, of course.
My sister was in here for a second, and now she disappeared.
Bad Bunny, come on up. That's Don Pardo, by the way. Mary, everybody is welcome. Even Whitebot's welcome. Well, actually, not. That's not true. Who's out? Natalie is here. Natalie's afraid to come up. She's afraid to come up. R. Hello, R.
To come up.
And Ray, of course.
We just keep calling Natalie out. If you keep saying Natalie, come on, Natalie, she'll come up.
And
she can't handle
not
the
after
pressure.
the conversation. What I heard today, I have to really stop doing that to people. But anyway, Judy, what are you doing down there? There's Natalie.
Here I am.
So, what are your
something
thoughts?
That Jen said yesterday.
Go ahead.
Just real quick, let me say this. Something that Jen said yesterday, and I still think holds true today, is that all of this fiasco played out on this screen with the he said, she said, you don't know who to believe, and all of this stuff, and then her trying to be some face of something is just not good. It is detrimental to all the things that have moved forward in this area. It's not good. And at the very least, I hope, take her out of an ambassador. She doesn't need to be an ambassador of ACLU. She needs to heal. She doesn't need to be the face of Me Too, because she needs to heal. And Johnny too, but he's not trying to be the face of any of that. But they both need to do the work that they need to do, and just get removed from these places of like, oh, look at me, I'm speaking up and fighting in this arena. No.
Right. And that was to Jen Frank's point yesterday. And it was a great point. And I will reiterate that a little bit more, because you're right, Deanna. But Natalie, welcome. Welcome. I'm so happy that you could make it.
Thank you. It's all thanks to TikTok, because I got onto TikTok to check my stats. And the first video it showed me was Amber Heard posing for the camera while she was on stand. And I went, oh, Wendi and Deanna's show is probably still going on.
We're going to miss it. Do you want to come on camera?
Right. And you see what I'm saying, Natalie? how you go in and out of being able to believe her.
And so
I just keep.
So I was prepared to come in, and it would be more of, you really can't believe her. She's kind of bad at the stand, and she's kind of bad at acting. But then I came in and I got a whole new context, and I think you've hit it right on the head. It's a perfect storm. They're both narcissists. They were unsafe people to ever be in the same room together, let alone living together, let alone in a marriage together. Every time we say James Franco, I go, ew. Like the fact that like he keeps getting brought up in all of this, I'm like, oh no, not James Franco. But yeah, also I'm never scared to come on stage.
I know that. I know that was a joke.
So.
So we, yeah, that was an inside joke, actually. Do you want to be on video though, Natalie, or do you have a phobia about that after today's rant?
I'll be on phone.
Okay, good. Shall I do that? Then I have to tap.
Yeah, invite her up. I like that you have the power. Do I need to do it because it's so far out of your reach? Oh Lord, you took yourself off.
Oh
the video.
Jesus, yeah. Can you do it? Can you do it? Because now I have to put myself back on video. Oh God,
you always have troubles.
I am blonde.
I sit a little closer to my phone.
Mm-hmm. So there's the girlfriend.
Here I am.
And so for everyone in the audience, just to be fair, Natalie actually has a show here on Fireside. She's a creator. Would you just tell everyone what the name of your show is and when we can visit it?
Sure. My show is called To All the Men I've Tolerated Before. This week it's been Johnny Depp all week long. And it's here on Fireside Live every other Monday. And if you can't get enough of me, you can check out every podcast episode that I've ever released on anywhere you find a podcast. And we release episodes every Thursday.
That's awesome. All right. So
same name, right, Natalie? All the Men I've tolerated before. That's the podcast. Okay.
In my bio.
Didn't you do that one show? Sorry, we're a little off topic, guys. But didn't you do the one show where I got stuck in my car because I had to do the character in the book?
Yeah, I made you improv.
That was fun.
Novel, not realizing that you were stuck in your car, which is something that I do. I just sit in my car, and then someone's like, "And now you're stuck here." We have so much in common. But yeah, that was my show.
Yeah, that was super fun. All right. So I have to go off camera because I actually have to go pee pee wee wee. And I will be right back in 5 minutes. Can you guys handle the show from here?
Yes. I'm just so glad we got to hear that.
Right.
And that you're not taking us with you. That's nice too.
Right.
So Natalie, are you watching any of this?
So no.
Or are you just hearing kind of the clips that we're giving?
I'm hearing the clips. I'm seeing the TikToks. I'm not to the point yet where I'm watching it or making sure to check in on it throughout the day. There's so much in this world going on.
There is, and I don't want to minimize that. I do feel like the part of this that made us want to do this was just the fact that there were people out there saying, look, there's this and that you can be dealing with. Why are you watching this mess? Don't we have enough of Hollywood mess? But this is not about just following somebody's mess and hearing their dirty laundry.
No.
This is about the impact that it's having on real issues that are happening right here in this country. And it is a real issue. And now it's being muddied a little bit with this commotion that they have decided to air,
Right.
Now, I get it because personally, I think that had the divorce just happened and everybody went their own way, none of this would have happened.
Exactly.
But because the op-ed came out, right, because the impact was minimal. As a matter of fact, financially, they said, so, they got divorced in 2016, and 2017 was one of his best years as far as all of the work. His work was normal that year. It was good. And, so I don't think that he would have put this out there or would have done this had the op-ed not come out, because they were just kind of recovering and it wasn't all mainstream news. Everything wasn't being played out, but then somehow it had to become this article, this representation, this whole thing, and it has just really gotten out of hand.
Mm-hmm. And
really too far out of hand.
To your point of the people going, do we have to be covering this? A lot of celebrity mess. The thing about it is, it's a double-edged sword, because while we find it really hard to relate to celebrities when they are going through a struggle, it does give us a captive audience to talk about the struggles that we experience in this country. So now people are talking about it. I think Jen did a wonderful job last night.
Yeah.
Just laying it out about how this made her feel, what it means to be an advocate, all of it. And that's why we have Fireside. We have Fireside because sometimes you need to be having these conversations, and sometimes it's easier to make it about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard than it is to make it about yourself or people you love.
Wow. You're so...
Amen. I agree with that.
You think, Natalie, you always come with this perspective that, is I love it. I just love it. You always are coming with something, thought-provoking for right, Deanna? I mean, that's how I feel.
Yes. And that's so true. I said yesterday a little bit about like no publicity is bad publicity, quote unquote, when we're talking about the movement of bringing domestic violence into the light and seeing that it affects everybody, anywhere, any place, anytime, doesn't matter. Like we said yesterday, socioeconomic scale, race, gender, it doesn't matter. The thing that I do feel like you said, with the double-edged sword, is the muddying part. I do feel like women who have experienced this, or even men who've experienced this, I think for men, this might give them a little bit of, hey, I can talk about this. But for women, it's almost like, because you fronted in such a grand way, you've made it maybe possible for women to be shyer about coming forward.
We have an empathy problem in our culture. So very rarely are people going to go beyond their first thought about this. And if what we know is what we know, and it's just from Entertainment Tonight or anything like that, I don't think people are going to sit down and go, Amber Heard is also a person who was hurt by something in her life, and also Johnny. And then she made a choice, and the choice snowballed. And I can remember 18 choices I've made that have snowballed. And it's the same with Johnny. Like, Johnny Depp is a human, and he is a person, and he has been hurt, and he coped with that hurt with cocaine. And I know 22 people who have done that too. And it gets to the point where we forget that at any moment it could also be us, which I think is a great perspective that the two of you bring to this topic, because it was you.
Right. And I think that, as you're saying, not only do we have a lack of empathy, but I think we're really good at judging. Judging something from an angle that we may not know, or judging something because we've already got a predetermined notion. So it's easy. I don't think any person who is in Johnny Depp's fan club, any person who is all justice for Johnny, is going to change their mind.
Right.
They're going to stay on that bandwagon forever. Whereas Wendi and I, when we came into this, we wanted to really be like, okay, let's look at this. Let's see what's happening. What's going on here? Please don't let it be Johnny. Obviously, we are Johnny Depp fans, but don't let it be. Just don't let it be. Can't be. Not our Johnny, right? But and as we started moving through this, we were seeing a lot of holes, and there's still some holes. We were seeing all these holes, and we started going, oh, that's weird, because even going into this saying we don't want it to be Johnny, we were also going, it's probably true. Like Amber, you just go into it kind of a little bit from a woman's standpoint, empathizing with another woman. So then as we moved along, it was like, I'm not buying all of this. There's a lot of gaps here. And even her initial testimonies, all of the way she reacted in court, all of the things, and till today, right? So I did keep saying, look, I just want to hear her testimony so I can kind of really make a true a decision on this. But I think we were surprised. I think Wendi and I were both surprised to kind of be in the Johnny camp for most of this.
Yeah.
And now we're starting to see a little bit of a shift, only because we're starting to see some reality in her situation that we can totally relate to.
We're starting to
Am
hear
I right,
her.
Wendi?
Yeah, we're starting to hear her side. We're hearing the other side. There's two sides to everything, and we're hearing her side, and that is enlightening us. And for me, it is. I'm feeling it more because I'm feeling it. I just, that's the only thing I can say is that if someone asked me to talk about the time, it's when she said he would hit her on the back of the head, I pound her on the back of the head over and over and over. And that's me. I'm saying those same words. I would just sit there and he would just hit me on the back of my head over and over and over. And I determined, I think I told my mother this, that it was because he couldn't leave any more black eyes. He couldn't leave any more strangulation marks. He couldn't leave any more evidence of me being hurt. So he started to hit me in places that nobody could see. And back of the head was one of them.
Right.
Over,
Right.
but the over
Right.
and over and over. So that really triggered something in me. I mean, who makes that up? You don't make that up. He hit me over and over and over and over again on the back of the head. I mean, and other things, all the other
Right.
stuff.
Mhm.
That's really making up a really crazy, messed up, brutal incident.
Right. Okay. So I'm gonna and again, like I like how we always flip the flop for each other, and so I'm gonna flip flop this. There's two things. One, I'm a little suspicious of you taking pictures of somebody passed out or somebody with, like in this Australia situation.
Shit, I do that all
she
the
managed
time
to
to my
take some
passed
sort
out
of picture.
husband. I mean, I have pictures
That's
of
not. I'm not finished. I'm
of
not
me
finished.
passed out.
I'm not finished though. Right, but I'm saying you took pictures of that, but you didn't take pictures of yourself, your bruises on your chin that you talked about, or your cuts on your feet that you set up and that you were bleeding. Like for me, I get it. You might take pictures. I have 800 pictures of my husband sleeping. Okay. That's not the point. That's not the point. My point is, in this situation, you're taking this picture, you're taking the opportunity to take this picture of someone vulnerable and proof that he's passed out, but you're not taking the proof on yourself physically.
I think
and at this point, you were getting to that point of going, I got to get out of this. I got to be safe. And then what? That. Okay. And then here's my point number 2. I know this is far-fetched. I'm not saying that this is happening, but I'm going to give you a little story about when I was growing up. So in my neighborhood, we had these reports, and the police were patrolling.
Just a tad, Deanna. You keep popping.
Back up?
popping. Yeah. Just a
okay.
little
Sorry.
bit.
So we had this woman in our neighborhood. The police were patrolling like crazy because they kept getting these reports that she had somebody breaking into our house or somehow getting into our house every single night and raping her, attacking her, tying her up, doing all these crazy things, taking knives or blunt at things, carving stuff. She would have cuts. She had an N carved in her chest, all of this stuff. And she had all this physical evidence. And so the cops were patrolling. And then it would happen even while they were patrolling. And they were like, what is happening? How do we not catch this? And it went on for like 2 weeks until finally they literally just parked outside of her house when they told her that they couldn't patrol anymore and caught her doing it to herself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And she wound up getting arrested for the fraud and the amount of stuff. But it was a person who required this type of attention
Yeah.
And I don't know how far somebody goes for that type of thing, which makes me worry about sometimes seeing these little holes in the stories, or why you wouldn't take pictures of your bruises if you had bruised up jaw, but you took this one little rosy cheek when you went and got your restraining order that nobody saw. Nobody else saw it.
They showed pictures today or yesterday or today of her bloody lip and her black eyes. They did. Of her bloody lip and of her black eyes. Yeah, they did. She has pictures of that. I don't know what fight that was from. She's in a white top. You might have missed that, but they did show that.
I might have.
And they were in evidence
because
it was definitely
because
there.
today she testified. I don't know why I didn't take any pictures of my bruise, any of her physical pictures when she was in Australia, which was probably one of the worst, right? That one in the penthouse were the two like most
that they focus on. I'm sure that there was many others that,
Right. But I guess those will also maybe over the longest period of time. I mean, Australia was days of things happening. And so I don't know. I just keep getting these little feelings.
What it boils down,
I'm not saying she's doing that.
It boils down to
I don't believe her testimony today. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
We need to hear more.
And that's what I've been saying from the beginning. Like, yeah, I believe Johnny and all of this stuff is going on and I'm listening to him and it's totally believable. But I want to hear Amber's side. I wanted to hear it. I was not making my judgment based only on him. Obviously, they're going to put him in the best light possible. If not, they're not doing their job.
I would like to hear what Bad Bunny has to say, because and if he doesn't come up, it's because he's busy being famous. How about Mary? How about Trinity? I've invited everybody up and nobody's accepted. Trinity, Reagan, Paul, Judy,
too.
Ray. You guys have to have some opinions. It was
except our
R. Come on up.
Except our tried and true Natalie. She is always there for us.
Yeah. Well, yay. RH. There we go. Come on up. Welcome.
I like hearing a guy's point of view too. So thanks for coming up.
Yeah. You need to unmute with your little microphone down on the bottom next to your react so we can hear you. If you look down on the bottom of your phone, RH. Do I call you RH?
Should be almost centered.
Uh-huh.
Do you have something to add? R?
Tap that little microphone. Tap the little microphone there.
Let me see.
See that little microphone down there? I'm going to make you tap it. I'm not leaving until you tap that microphone, okay?
I know some people have had problems with it and they had to get out and get back in and stuff like that. So
where'd my video? There it is. Oh, this is so weird. But R, we don't even know if we call you R, we call you RH, if we call you Ra, we have no idea.
So unmute whenever and interrupt us. It's fine.
Yeah.
Because
you're welcome to the stage for whatever reason.
Okay. All right.
There he is. Yes.
Barely.
All right, let me move closer to the mic. Can you hear me now?
There you are. We got you.
All right. Am I on camera?
You can
be.
Would
you like to be?
Yeah, because I want to be a creator, so I want to get myself out there.
Awesome.
So, yeah,
you're coming right up.
All right, let me know when you're ready, because I'm kind of close.
You might want to turn your audio up just a tad.
All right.
There you go.
Okay.
And Deanna's invited you to a video.
Oh,
look at what you've done, man. You have pushed us over to the side.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm doing. So.
No, that's okay. Look at him. He's all landscape and stuff.
Oh, should I turn it around? Or you tell me.
No, Steph told us today that it makes good visuals.
Yeah,
okay.
We don't care.
Yeah, so like,
YouTube.
Okay. Right now, if you tap your screen one time, you'll see what this looks like full screen, and it's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have these three lovely women up here, and then you're across the bottom. It's beautiful. It's great.
Yes, thank you.
So, Ron, welcome. Ron. Is it Ron or is it?
Yeah, it is Ron. It's Ron.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
It's Ron.
All right. Well, welcome.
So thank you, ladies. I've been married for 25 years, and my aspect of it, I'm not watching it. I mean, I catch clips and stuff like that, and I'm listening to you ladies talk. I do believe that when people are in relationships, you meet a representative for a while. for a certain period of time, that representative. And then some people get used to that representative. And then once you become who you really are, they don't know how to act. Either way, I'm not taking his side or her side. So that's my main viewpoint of it. But also too, we stay in these things to try to make them better. I mean, and sometimes we just can't. And it's a difficult thing. So
I think they both were trying to make it better, right? So if it was a perfect storm, if it is a perfect storm of two individuals that, they both need help, right? They really need some help. But I lost my thought.
Well, something that you said resonated with something that I told my father today. And so by the title of my show, it won't surprise you that I am forever single. And I was telling my dad that I don't think that people understand how hard it is to be in our country, in our society, in our culture, unpartnered, and to feel like I can't by myself or get myself out of a bad situation if I need to.
Yeah.
And I was having a very frank conversation with him about a bad situation. And I think sometimes when it comes to, well, why didn't she take the pictures, or, why didn't she tell anyone? When you get to this point where you feel like, well, even if I do it, I do not think I can get myself out of the bad situation, because we don't know what her support system is like outside of Johnny, then you endure it. I've white knuckled through so many relationships, jobs, situations, all of it, because if I can't get myself out of it, or if I'm stubborn, or if I'm arrogant, or if I can't fathom asking for help, then I'm just going to endure it. And when you endure it, you make mistakes. I mean, I told my dad that today. I go, I know that I've messed up too. And I know that there were points where I could have changed this bad situation for me. And I don't know why I didn't.
Right. No, I agree with that 100%. And
100%.
In her situation, I do feel like, and that's why I said this earlier today, I do feel like there was like a mafia type thing, like that feeling of he is in this insulated little bubble where he's untouchable. He lives in a world where he has a team that is paid to protect him. That is their job. That is their job. And you feel like you are the intruder into that. And if they have to make a choice between you being protected and Johnny being protected, it's Johnny.
100%.
Right? Because that's 100%. How, right. And so you feel like you're in this situation where you may not have the options. Now, she did have a little support circle in her friends, and she brings that up quite often in her testimony, turning to her sister, turning to her friends, talking even to her mom about this. When she went for professional support, she would quit. And she would quit because the professional support ultimately would give her these boundaries and that she needed to get out. And she had to choose between the professional support and Johnny, and she kept choosing Johnny. So because she felt like, and she said this over and over again, that she could help him, that she was blaming this all 100% on the drug use, not their toxic little circle that they were in. She was literally blaming it all on the drug use. And she thought if that went away, everything was perfect. But really what was happening is she was living in that, you might really relate to this, Ron, that honeymoon phase. That phase when all of those hormones are kicking, and that lasts for a couple of years. And so you can get back into that. So yeah, you go through this cycle and then you go back to this little honeymoon phase and you think you're making some kind of headway. But when you hit that 3-4 year mark, that's not happening anymore. That's just not happening anymore. And so it culminates, it came to this head. And unfortunately, this is what's happening because of it.
They were only together for 15 months.
Well, no, they were only married for 15 months.
Oh, they were married for 15 months. Right.
They were together for probably about 4 years. And that is go look up the research. That is a typical cycle, really.
Well, I'm we're different. I knew my wife for 3 months and married her. You know,
And how long
but
have you
I
been
did it
married?
for like sometimes you do it for reasons
25
to,
years.
you may, yeah, you see things in people. Maybe she's seen like y'all said this earlier. Trying to change, or you see something in somebody and you just don't know when to say, you know what, I'm not the right coach for you. I think you need a new coach.
Yeah.
Because you're not
Right.
listening to me.
Well, I
Yeah.
enjoyed hearing from her today some of her story, or it might have been yesterday, some of her story that came out about how they connected when they started seeing each other through poetry,
Yeah, that was
obscure
yesterday.
poetry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Books,
obscure
poetry, yeah.
movies, books and stuff that they had in
Music.
common. So, right, on the artist level, they had these eccentricities that were in common, and they related to each other, and it was like, oh,
she's very smart, right? She went to community college or something like that at a very young age because she took the SATs earlier. She was very smart. And she was stuck in this little tiny town of Maynard, Texas, where she worked for the family and broke courses and stuff. But eventually, she worked in the community and the theater, and she went through her whole, thing as she's a little girl that wanted to be an actress and all her life, basically,
Right.
And help other people. And she loves kids and this and that. And they established that. And I know people, in small towns in Texas, and that mentality of how they grow up, that culture of how they grow up is, it's hard work and you get out there and you survive and you're a survivor. And she came to LA with
Right.
hardly anything in her pocket. And yesterday I was very flippant about that. I was like, well, so does everybody else that wants to be an actor.
right.
But
It's like everybody's story, right?
it's like everybody's story, but that doesn't mean that story doesn't matter. Her story doesn't
Right, it
matter.
does not. It does not make it less valid. You're right. Judy had come up and now she's gone. Judy, if you want to
Oh, Judy, I'm so sorry because I'm full screen and I can't see who's
I'll
up
get
there.
off, ladies. I'm sorry.
You don't need to
Thank
get
you.
off. You
Okay.
definitely don't need
We
to get
can have
off.
like 22 people. That's what Wendi said yesterday. We can have
No.
22 people. on stage.
12. We can have 12 people on the stage, 4 people on screen. So we're good. You can stay. I just didn't want Judy to think that I didn't notice it. I saw her come up and then
Yeah,
we
so did
tested
I,
the
but
full screen and started talking. And then
yeah.
now she's not up here.
So just so everyone in there you
she
go, because
is.
we can't see you if we're full screen. We can't see anybody behind us.
Right.
So we
And then
don't know
here,
somebody's
I'll
there.
go off video.
Judy?
So Judy can come on video.
Would you
Okay.
like to come on video?
Can you hear me?
I
Yeah.
can hear you.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, good. No, because I'm Central Time and I'm in my pajamas right now.
I'm
Jammy
Central Time
Judy.
too.
Yeah, so
I'm
no, I
Central
don't-
Time
I don't
too, and I
think
get
Central
dressed up
Time.
for this.
Do you?
During time, and that's they're
Good.
constantly making fun of
awesome.
me for washing my face while I'm watching the show.
Well, I was listening and brushing my teeth, so I guess.
Well,
I do
there
that
you
all
go.
the time. Yeah. So Judy, what's cooking? So glad to have you up.
Well, it's late, so I'm probably not going to think very, very clearly, but it's like I have all these thoughts all over the place about everything that's going on. I watched my parents growing up, and they had similar personalities.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like, in my opinion, and what I've seen, and I mean, I don't live with them, but what I've seen on the screen is they reacted a lot like my parents did.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like my parents' personality disorders attracted each other, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Where my mother would build my dad up and tear him down. And I think my dad might have been, and I'm not a psychiatrist or anything like that, but borderline personality disordered. And my mother was very much covert narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
And their fights were very volatile. And it was like he needed to feel secure in his relationship, whereas she liked the attention of him being jealous. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And that's why I say they were the perfect storm. And I'm not really caring a whole lot about what her psychologist said. As this is playing out, it really does validate that histrionic personality disorder and that I'm getting ready to call it bipolar. And it's
PTSD?
not.
The PTSD?
No.
Or
No, what's the other disorder that she labeled her with?
intimate.
No, Judy just said it.
Borderline personality disorder
Borderline.
and histrionic.
Yes, that's the two. So when I go to borderline, if I don't say it right away, my brain goes bipolar, and then I know it's not the right word and I can't function. But she is definitely in those roles. I don't know how you can deny that. Now, I'm not going to deny her PTSD. I'm not going to deny her that. That is a distinct possibility, which the second, Johnny's girl didn't try to say she doesn't have. No, Bull, I don't think you get to say that really if that other woman found it. But
whoa, Deanna, look who's in the audience.
Who? Fred. What?
Fred, would you jump up on stage? We've been waiting for you. Please,
for
Freddie,
weeks.
I'm sorry, Deanna, but Deanna has been dying for Fred. Frederick, please, Frederick Penny. Are you inviting him?
Oh, I didn't. I can. We're telling him, jump up, and then nobody's inviting him. So Judy, yes. I agree with you. I do think that those personalities might attract. Now, the interesting thing is, so far, I don't think in Johnny's life that has been the case. And so far in his life, it seems like he has had people that compliment him. Even his last relationship, which he wasn't married, he was in for 14 years. And nobody's come forward with these issues because I don't think they had those conflicting personalities where they were in this toxic cycle. So it's just really like a sad turn of events. It's weird.
So, Fred, welcome. I don't want to lose you. What are your thoughts on what's happening with the DeppHeard debacle? Fred is
do you want to come
Talk
on camera,
Law
Fred?
Radio, and he is an attorney, and he's going to tell us, but you're on mute.
How's now? How about now?
There.
How about now?
Awesome.
There you are.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh,
Thank you.
Do you want to come on camera?
No, I in my underwear, to be honest with you. I'm watching TV.
Ooh, I was gonna ask you what you were wearing, Fred.
TMI, but you know what? That's a fact. I just thought I'd say it.
There you go.
I'm tired. It's been a long day.
That's all right.
Hey, you know what? There's a lot. I could talk for days. In fact, that's we're going to probably spend 2 hours on Saturday about it. Here, you want to know some interesting things? What do you want to know? Ask me. I mean, I got a million opinions, and I know kind of what the lawyers are trying to do, and I see what's happening. And
well, tell us that.
I know the behind the scenes.
Tell us what the lawyers are trying to do. I would love to know that because all I keep hearing is objection, hearsay,
right.
Objection, hearsay. So tell us what the lawyers are trying to do
the most important
and how that benefits because it's.
Yeah, here's the most important thing. The most important thing is this. I've learned at a young age, 30 years experience, trial lawyer. My brother's was a prosecutor for the DA's office and a judge, and he was a phenomenal trial lawyer. He taught me this when I was young. He said, Fred, there's two things that lawyers never think about. And again, I'm not ripping. I don't want to play armchair quarterback but I'm going to say the way I do things or the way we do things in our firm. The first question you ask yourself, is it an objectionable question? If the answer is yes, most lawyers forget the second one, the vast majority. And that is it going to really hurt your case? And the majority of the answers to the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard stuff, and Amber Heard's case and her testifying, the answer for Johnny Depp's lawyers is no. 90% of the objections I could care less about. I would let them go. And let me tell you why. A lot of it has to do with foundation. You know, there are some stuff that is coming in that should not come in that they should object to.
Okay, I was wondering.
You are trying. Yeah, it looks like you're trying to thwart You want to object as less as possible. It's the complete opposite. Then the jury thinks, don't forget, you're talking to jurors over here. It doesn't matter if you're a good objection. You're probably right. All this stuff's objectionable. Leading. Yeah, you're right. Leading. So what? Let them lead. It's not going to, okay, I won't lead. And then you notice Amber's attorney goes back around and starts setting the foundation and it has to go 2 or 3 more steps and the judge allows it. So I could see a couple of times about lobbing a few balls, but too much. Johnny Depp's lawyer is objecting way too much. Not a little bit, way too much.
So today I noticed that, last week, Amber's attorneys objected to themselves. That's how much I feel like both sides are objecting. But then today, they got in trouble-ish. The judge got a little irritated because they can't keep track of what's in evidence, right? And she's like, "Look, you guys have to keep track. I'm not supposed to be keeping track of this."
Yeah, but that's not.
Is it uncommon?
Yeah, but let me tell you about that one.
You keep breaking up, Greg.
The answer is, in this size of a case, absolutely, it's common. It's so big.
Yes,
there's thousands. Thousands. Are you there? Can you hear me? There's thousands and thousands of exhibits. You can't, like, we've got to start in LA now. We have 5 of our top lawyers trying this case. 5 guys. I mean, that are going down to try this case. It starts on the 30th, right? And you just can't keep up with all the evidence. That's not a big deal. That's minor stuff. Let me tell you something I'm going to talk about on Radio Law Talk on Saturday to my audience that I'm going to preview for you guys.
Okay.
You notice when Amber started to go on and really started to get in deep detail and just stuff that sounded damaging, Johnny Depp's lawyers let her run. And the reason they let her run is they think that she's going too far. When they let her keep going and run, they're objecting at first. I believe that what they're doing is that's what I kind of saw myself is, and again, I don't know who's done what, and there's evidence on both sides, but I think they're hoping that she is pushing so much out there, whether true or not, but there's so much being pushed into the jury about he's constantly beating me. He's, don't forget, supposedly he wears his rings. She testified a number of times, and I put the quote, he beat me and hit me and hit me. I don't know, maybe he did, but with rings on? If he punched her, that's going to be some serious damage. And what's interesting is Johnny Depp's lawyers let her just keep run. So I think they're doing that on purpose to make it look.
Yeah, you're dropping out a little bit there, Fred. Can't hear you.
Oh, okay, sorry. Are you good now? Oh, hold on. Let me go find a place that's better. Yeah, let me go find a better place.
Okay.
But that's did you catch about why they let Amber Heard go?
Yeah.
You hear it better now?
Yeah, that's better.
So did you hear what I said about why they let her go on?
Yeah.
You dropped.
They let her go on because I'm going to go outside because I'd be better outside. I don't know if you guys know, I live out in a big ranch out in the country in California. I'm in California, but I live on a big property.
So you can go outside.
All right, I'm outside.
So, okay.
So the thing is that 104 acres. So I think I'm good. So
that's great.
there's so anyway, long story short, they let Amber just run the table, and she went on and on and on.
So Fred, you feel like they're letting her do that because why? Because for me, you're right. I come from that background and blah, blah, blah. I started to empathize with her. I really started to believe her because it was very real for me how she was feeling.
Right. And it may be true. I'm not saying it's not true, but the continuation of it nonstop, and constantly saying, he beat me, then he beat me again on this side, beat me. And I think they're just saying, they're hoping, I'm just strategizing here. I'm not saying who's right or wrong, that it's getting so big. The story's so big that it's almost to the point where it's almost unbelievable, right? That's why I think they're letting her go.
And
they're letting her go. And so that's why I think is going to happen.
And do you think that they think that there's like, okay, great, you went on and all of this, and in all of this stuff, we have no evidence. We have 3 pictures.
Well, yeah. And okay, let me tell you, there's 2 things. This is a legal issue now.
Right.
Defamation, which is liable because it was written, right? Slander is talk, liable is written.
Mm-hmm.
The difficulty to prove that nothing that what she said in the op-ed was not in the least bit true is going to be very difficult for Johnny. It's going to be a very difficult road to hoe. Whether, no matter what happens, that's a high standard. And I can get into days and days of talking about it. So it's going to be tough for Johnny to win no matter what. I think behind the scenes, Johnny's just trying to get his side heard. Yeah. And so that's why he's doing it.
3 weeks.
Yeah, not necessarily because he's winning, but now if you start looking at social media, the tide's turning towards Johnny. Now that was before I started looking today. I looked a little bit, and there's a lot of people, women and men, saying, "Oh, she's pushing it too much." So I think that could be a good strategy because the way it was before Johnny did all this stuff, it was all Amber Heard out there on People's Magazine with a bruise on her eye, no evidence, blah, blah, blah. Now he had to put this out. Now, are you ready for what I think is if I was plaintiff's lawyers, Johnny's lawyers, again, I'm armchair quarterback, the number one thing I would push, and it's going to be, you will have a guarantee and no one's going to say, what is he going to say? I think this is a bomb that nobody is really catching. Nobody's catching it. What do you think it is? Okay, it was during Johnny Depp's testimony, one of the witnesses. Just take a wild guess. Which witness do you think is going to hurt Amber the worst?
The bodyguard that she reached over and punched him in the face. That's what I think.
No. I don't think so. Go ahead. That's a good one though. Good one. Was that Wendi or was that Natalie?
That was
Deanna.
All right, Deanna. Sorry, Deanna.
Okay, hold on. So ask the question again.
Sure. Which witness that Johnny produced helps him more than any other witness? And then we'll get into Amber because Amber still hasn't produced her witnesses. So we can talk about that stuff later, right? So what's the number one witness? Whoa, I was going, wow, bombshell. And I don't think people are catching it, but I would reiterate it to the jury.
I don't know. I'm trying to be too logical, and I'm thinking the black guy that's been by his side ever since 1991.
Okay, that's good. All right, here it is. I'm going to stop doing it. I'm going to stop playing.
House manager.
Anyway, no, her assistant. I believe she was Hispanic that made $25 an hour. Mm-hmm. Was a humble servant that worked hard and took care of the two of them, and in a nice way she testified, went up to Amber making $25 an hour and said,
"But not Hispanic. She was just a white lady."
Oh, I thought she was white. Okay, I can't remember if she's Hispanic or not. Okay, I thought I can't remember that. But anyway, she walked up and she said, "Can I have a raise?" And she got mad at her, said no, and spit in her face.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is a major character flaw. And this lady has no reason to put herself out there, to my knowledge, and do this, right?
Right.
And then people say, "Oh, well, she's beholden to Johnny." You don't spit in some 25. You're worth billions of dollars if you're Depp, but Amber's still worth a lot of money. You don't treat your staff like that.
And she does not work for either one of them anymore. So she's like, unlike all these other people who are on his staff and being paid by him and are paid to protect him. Yeah, true. She's not. We talked about her a lot on the day that she testified because I was like, and I loved, okay, Fred, tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I loved how she got on there and she just was like, you already asked me that. I'm not answering that again. That question makes no sense.
Yes.
She was just so fed up and just like, this is ridiculous. Stop asking me the same question. You already asked me that. If you ask me something new, I will be glad to answer it. I mean, she was just
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I did love her as a witness.
But that goes to character, don't you think? So this is all
Absolutely.
about who's telling the truth, right? Because there's not a lot of evidence out there on behalf of Amber. All the stuff she testified today, to me, was like, wow, really? We're all saying wow, but then I kept writing, okay, where's the proof? Now there are, we can get into experts that say that battered women they're going to hide it, and I get that, and I agree. But you still have to say to yourself, who's telling the truth, Johnny or her? Because a lot of it's he said, she said, right?
It is, and I, look, Wendi and I both come from that background. When I got a broken arm, I couldn't hide it. You know what I mean? Like you
broken
can't
nose.
hide certain, right? You can't hide certain things.
Wait.
So
They showed evidence today of photos with her, a busted lip, her broken nose, and black eyes.
There was no medical record. It was a picture, but there's no record that says her nose was broken.
Right. No, well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Wendi. If and again, I'm not on Johnny's
discrediting it either,
Yes.
but I'm just saying there's no really anything to prove that. And I'm sorry if you abused me the way she talked about today with a bottle, and you woke up and you thought all of this stuff, and you woke up and you told me that you had discomfort when they asked her if she was in pain because of this. And she said, all I could think about was how Johnny felt about me in some sort of way. And, if we were ending, if this was the end. And so I wasn't really paying attention to the discomfort is what she called it. I'm sorry. What you described would not result in just discomfort. What you described seems like it would result in a need for medical treatment, not just a want, but a need for medical treatment. And so again, while I was completely like triggered when I was listening to this, because I was just like, I can't, and maybe that's how she felt that it went down, because I'm not going to lie, I think she's doing drugs too. There just is no proof. There's no proof of anything.
Yeah, that's the thing, that there's actual medical notes that show she was doing drugs, and the fact that she's kind of playing like, oh, I'm trying to save him, and no, just step up. Yeah, we're both doing it. It is what it is, and that doesn't mean
MDMA on the plane because it was a contained situation, and I thought it would help Johnny. Really, that's why you did it?
Yeah, no,
come on now.
Yeah.
Well,
See,
in her defense, you guys, she's not gonna be there and say on the witness stand and say, yeah, I did MDMA because you know what, it's the love drug, and I really.
But Johnny's not denying his use of drugs. He's not taking it like to the degree that maybe it was, right? He's not sitting here like going, oh yeah, I was so strung out, I stayed up for 4 days. He's not saying that, but he's also not denying it. He can't deny it. This has been his history throughout his entire career.
Right.
So
yeah, now let's jump on Amber's side. All we've got to show is that he was abusive to her. And remember what Amber's lawyers cross-examined Johnny Depp's psychiatrist expert, I can't remember, psychologist,
Dr.
psychiatrist.
Curry.
Yep.
Forensic psychologist. Yep.
What she said, and she admitted, abuse doesn't have to be just physical. It could be verbal, right? And she admitted that. That's Johnny Depp's.
This was a question I had for you.
Yeah.
Okay, I had this question for you because I know that this is not a trial about abuse. It's about proving that she was abused. And
your audio is
about abuse comes to play.
Yeah, you're cutting in and out.
Or that's me.
Can you? Okay.
Is it Deanna's? You guys?
It's Deanna.
Oh.
Yeah.
Deanna.
It's a. Can you?
No, you're breaking up.
Hear me now.
I think what she was trying to bring up is can you bring up issues? Does it have to be physical for the libel that the lawsuit is about? Can it just be not just physical violence, but mental violence or but what things hurtful in other ways, not just physical, but things that he said or how he abused or treated her. And the answer is it depends upon what she said in the op-ed, right? What did she say in the op-ed? And that's what it comes down to. You notice in opening statements, the whole thing, they kept pointing at the op-ed, that is Amber's counsel. That's all it's about, is the op-ed. They're suing under liable for the op-ed, right? And so that all these things that are happening, the circus, it's almost like they're not focusing on the op-ed. That's what it's about.
They're not. Wendi and I have talked about that too. And I guess that was my question, is what is the definition of abuse? And that definition is based solely on what the op-ed had to say.
Yeah, well, their experts have both said abuse can be verbal and physical. And so both experts. So if I'm Heard's lawyers, I'm arguing my closing arguments. Even Johnny Depp's expert says abuse, what, quote, Amber was talking about, what she's going to say, includes verbal, and so that's going to be more difficult. Like I said at the beginning, it's going to be a tough row to hoe for Johnny to overcome and win a liable suit. It's just tough, right? So...
yeah, I don't think he's in that to win it. I think he's doing exactly what you said, and neither one of them are going to win this case anyway.
Well, I'll tell you who's going to win.
I think
it has to settle. Right, exactly.
No, I'll tell you who's going to win. Okay, think about it, guys. Think about this. This is just outside the box. Amber Heard is starting her career. Johnny Depp makes so much money on his royalties. He's going to be fine. He's going to be fine one way or the other, right? Because whether or not he's thrown out of Hollywood, he's still getting royalties, a lot of royalties. And so what it comes down to, Amber's young and she's just starting out her career. Is it going to damage her and ruin her? Maybe. Yeah. I mean, it's going to ruin Johnny, but Johnny's already made his money. He's got his royalties are massive, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. This is interesting stuff. There's so many things. I've got a list of like 10 pages so far just to talk about this Saturday on my radio show. So
Fred, do you think that what you're saying is, do you think that they're going to eventually, after we hear everything out, that it's going to side with Depp for that reason, or with her because she has a future? She's ruined regardless. It doesn't make any difference. I don't think anybody's going to hire her in Hollywood, even if she wins. And I don't see how anybody wins in this situation. I don't think anybody's a winner.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why sometimes you have to ask yourself, do you want to bring a lawsuit? People go, well, can this person bring a lawsuit? I always say, hey, you can bring a lawsuit because Oreo cookies, don't have triple stuff, right? You can do whatever you want. You can bring a lawsuit, but is it worth it, right? And I think, like I said, the reason Johnny did this is to at least get his side out. But man, there's some damning stuff that's coming out, whether you believe Amber or not. The stuff that she's bringing up is pretty atrocious, right? Right. Yeah. So you're right. It's a no-win situation, and
right. And I think on the legal front, the countersuit for defamation, I think nobody wins. But if you're talking in life, I think, like you said, I think Johnny wanted to do this to just be able to show that it was not a one-sided situation, and that I don't know, restore some of his reputation, because even if he does get kicked out of Hollywood, I don't think he wants to be kicked out of Hollywood. This is his craft. This is his art. This is his talent. This is what he's devoted his life to. This is his passion. He doesn't want to give that up. And I think that reputation and recouping a little bit of that was his aim from the beginning. Or like
wait till cross-exam.
From Jump Street. Oh my God. I know.
Yeah, wait till the cross-examination. It's going to go a full day or more. And, the first thing I'm going to say is, does Johnny wear his rings? Because what I understand is Johnny rarely, if ever, takes his rings off. Right. And, if you were hurt so bad, I was writing quotes down, he constantly punched me in the face and punched me. And I'm like, he's got rings on, I mean,
man, so many notes.
But I feel bad for Amber too. I mean, she's, I guess I feel bad for everybody. Even though you go, oh, they're rich Hollywood. I feel bad for them,
I do too. And I feel bad because she was so young, and I'm sure she was taken by the fact that she was in this. All of a sudden she found herself inside Hollywood. Whereas
Right.
before she was like skirting and struggling and starting to make a name for herself. And then she found herself in the inner circle, in the inner
Right.
sanctum. And it was bigger and more than she probably could have ever fathomed. And that goes for all of the things. And I just think that she was consumed. I think she was consumed by that. And I think it's already impacting her, right? Like there's some changes that have happened with Aquaman 2, I think.
Yeah. You know what? What do you think? I think this is going to be bigger than OJ at the end. I think it's going to be bigger than the OJ trial, or as big for sure, but bigger because of social media, right? And the what's going to happen. But this is, hey, it makes good radio. Hey, my radio law talk. We always said if it wasn't for Johnny Depp, I don't know if I could. My show would go on. It's just
you just need one of these to pop up every now and then.
Without that, and what do you say, Britney Spears and her case, I don't know if we'd even have a show anymore. You know, so
well,
I'm gonna plug it.
Hollywood.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna plug it. Can I plug it really quick?
Absolutely, plug it.
Yeah. Okay, so we're live 9 to noon every Saturday. Radio Law Talk, second largest law talk show in the United States. More than 100 stations carry us live. In fact, we got a new one out of Illinois that just joined us. So I've been doing it for 5 years. I love this, my radio law talk. A lot of work, but it's an exciting, fun time. I have two great co-hosts, Denise Dirks, power lawyer. Man, she runs the show. She is the boss, but she's a former, she is a family law attorney, very well known. And then Todd Cunin, former prosecutor for the DA's office in Tennessee and California, and now does public defense. And is an actor also, by the way, actor. He's been on a number of commercials. He is the voice of Baron Blade in WWE. He does voice acting. He's great on our show. So, and then we have a 3-time Emmy nominated, never a winner producer named Cal Hunter, and he produces our show, and we love it. And thanks for letting me come on, Wendi. You guys. I mean, Deanna, I'm just getting to know you, but Wendi, we've been here since the beginning, right?
Yeah, no, right. You guys are the OGs. That's what we keep saying. Y'all been here from the beginning. I actually became friends with you through like some summit that you spoke at that I started following you after that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
So Brett, we'll I'm going to for sure, it's going to be here on Fireside. Are you going to air it here on Fireside?
You know what? Sometimes I do air it. Sometimes I don't. It's a lot of work for us to kind of do it and then run it. And I kind of focus on, I'm a weird guy, but I focus, my on-air radio presence is getting so big. It's growing so fast. So we focus on the on-air stations that are picking us up, right?
Yeah, I love radio. I love that, what you do there. I used to have a talk radio show, and I love doing that, the live talk. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, well, you go to Radio Law Talk on our website. You can click on Listen Live. But we're all over the country, man. We're all over, Georgia, California, Oregon. I think we're in almost every state. So, but man, I try to look, and I'm just said, I'm going to give my disclaimers. Here's my disclaimers. Don't listen to what I said. I'm not giving legal advice. I'm just having fun. This is all for entertainment purposes. Don't go sue me because I'm giving an opinion just for the fun of it and entertainment reasons, right?
Don't sue
I ditto that.
Who would want to sue a lawyer?
Always throw that disclaimer out, man. Throw your disclaimers out, man. We're not giving legal advice. We're just having fun, and this is entertainment purposes only. Don't go to your. Well, I always say, you're the best part, and Wendi, you've heard that. The only reason you can use our Radio Law Talk and what we say on Radio Law Talk is when you're around the dinner table with your in-laws during the holidays, and they say, they say, and then you just counter that with, no, Fred Penny Radio Law Talk says as follows. That's the only time you can use it. Other than that, don't use me. All right?
Look, we put disclaimers on this show too, because I do trauma coaching, and it's like one time Wendi called me a therapist. I'm like, no. A, I'm not a therapist. And B, I do coaching, and C, we're not handing out advice here. We're just talking, and we have opinions. We have a lot of them, and we've experienced this. So that's what we just have stuff to say.
I really appreciate what you guys are doing. Seriously, I do. I love that you're talking about it. I think it's awesome. I wish I could be on more often. You guys are doing a great job. Wendi, you've been a powerhouse from the beginning. I remember you're just starting out. You've been pushing it, and I appreciate you a lot. I appreciate you guys.
I agree with you on that.
Power women. The power women. Kicking it out.
Wendi is the bomb.
Power women, man. See you guys. I got to run. I'm going to bed.
All right, thanks,
I'm
Fred.
tired, man. See you guys. All right, bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All righty. So it is almost 9 o'clock, Deanna, or almost 11 o'clock where you are. I think it's time.
I gotta go to bed. I'm really tired.
Yeah. So Deanna, so let's see here. If anybody else wants to say anything, this is your chance.
Can I say something?
Because I gotta eat dinner.
Yeah, go for it, Ron.
Oh, what I wanted to say was when everyone was saying, who's going to win out of this, we're going to win out of this, because you know what? It's going to open up new conversations and relationships that were, hard to talk about when you got these celebrities. It's almost like watching a mini series or something like that. But we're going to get it. You look at the conversations we're having. You know what I mean? I haven't really watched it, but it's still to the point of life. People go through things. Just because you're billionaire, trillionaire, poor, whatever, wherever you're from, you still have pain and happiness.
Yep.
So I think we're going to learn from this, and I think it's going to really help some people out. And that's my thing. And thank you, ladies, for having me on too.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. And I mean, there's nothing more real than this reality TV that we've been watching over the last few weeks. This is reality TV.
Yeah, and there's nothing more real than domestic violence and the way that people treat each other, and how humans actually how human beings can actually be so horrible. My husband the other day, and then I unplugged everything because I had to plug my phone in because it was going dead, so I can't do any music or anything. But my husband the other day, there was birds fighting. There's like a crow killing another bird out in the front yard. And my husband went out there and he was so angry. He's screaming at the bird in Italian, right? And he comes in and he says, birds are so cruel. I heard that hummingbirds attack each other. And I went, and humans don't? I mean,
I feel like we might have a little more consciousness about it, and we still do it.
So anyway, Deanna, thank you for allowing me to be your co-host on the show.
Well, Wendi, thank you for allowing me to be your co-host, even though I have to start the show. I just feel like that's weirdness. Tomorrow, you get to start the show.
That's right. Let's talk about that. I totally forgot the
clips. So tomorrow is the clip show. If you guys have funny clips, or you've gathered any clips, or if you have something you saw on TikTok or anything you want to share, bring it. Just bring it and share it with us. Get up on the stage, play it. We just want to be able to hear, kind of lighten the mood. That's kind of how we roll. It's like, let's bring some light, and then we're going to bring some lightness, and then we're going to bring some laughter,
Yeah.
So,
and here's the deal. Tomorrow, it's like you can find clips from anywhere. It doesn't have to be clips from the trial. It can be clips from other people talking about the trial kind of thing, right?
Brand is a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot on TikTok.
And it can only be 30 minutes, or it could be an hour. Who knows how long the clip show will go, but this is kind of like and it's under my name, so you have to follow me I don't even know if I have a clip show scheduled. Do I?
I don't know, but you better go schedule it. And then next week, I do believe court is dark.
Yes, so we won't be doing the show.
Right. So I think, and the reason we do the clip show on Friday is because they take Fridays off too. And then next week they're taking off, and then we'll get back at it. And I'm glad they're doing that. And I don't know what their reason is, but I sure need the break. So it'll be nice.
Me too. I can't wait for it to happen. So let's say goodbye to everybody. We'll go one at a time here, starting with Judy.
And Natalie.
Oh, where's Natalie? Oh, starting with Judy. And
you started with Julie, but you skipped Natalie. So I just went ahead and got Natalie. That's all right. And then we got Ron and Ray. Natalie, our true, tried and tested.
And Ron.
That's right. We had Ron. We have Ray.
And Paul.
And Reagan.
And Trinity.
And Mary.
And Silent Dale.
And Silent Bad Bunny.
And
I just noticed we have a Mary, Paul, and Trinity. That's an interesting little trio right there. Okay.
Anyway, thank you so much, Deanna. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow in the clip show. I interviewed Bad Bunny before this on my show, Cooper Time, and I thought it was a great interview. That was so that's in a just recently added, right?
So go watch it. I got to go watch it because my day was weird, so I didn't get to jump on live. So I'm going to go watch that because I do want to hear his story. And then my Laughter After Trauma show.
It was a fun show.
Yeah. And then my Laughter After Trauma show is on Tuesdays. Usually it's at 7 Central. This week it's going to be at 8 Central. So figure that out. 9
And
Eastern.
who are you interviewing? Who are you interviewing?
I'm interviewing Rock. I'm interviewing Rocksteady. I'll see if I can get him to accidentally spill some information that he keeps guarded. I don't know. We'll see. But he has had some interesting things go on in his life. And it's Mental Health Month, and I'm emphasizing the men. So if you didn't watch my last week's show, go watch that replay. Money Briggs, Dejan Briggs. He was an amazing interview. Such a great guy. So you can go watch that. It's going to be all men this month. And then we'll move into a different theme in June. We'll see.
Okay, great. So, hey, everyone. Thanks for being here.
I'm going to throw up a Danny song, and then we're going to get ourselves off of camera and off of everything else. Okay? Good night. What's that?
I'm going to go. My husband's waiting in the kitchen with the wooden spoon. Anyway, got to go.
You always say that. Like maybe I'm doing that. I'm trying.
Where's
I don't hear it. I don't know. You know, sometimes my iPad likes to not play. So
okay, well,
not going to play.
You know what we do?
So if it's not going to play, and we're going to bring up Wayback. That's what we're going to do. And then we're going to head on out.